as she came into view. She was wearing a dark purple blazer over a slim dress and was towing a small suitcase, the heels of her shoes clicking on the polished floor. There was a huge billboard behind her, and for a moment as she walked by, her shape was silhouetted against the stylized dragon on the ad, purple against gold. I followed her past the end of the railing. She turned towards the terminal exit, still towing her carry-on, and caught a glimpse of me out of the corner of her eye. She turned with a slight frown. "Hi, Mum," I said. My mother opened her mouth, still frowning. Then recognition flashed in her eyes. She froze. We stood there on the terminal concourse. People milled around us, greeting and embracing and chattering. Then, once the talking was done, joining together in groups to flow out of the airport and go home. Only the two of us were still. "What are you doing here?" my mother said at last. She looked shocked. "I was waiting for you." My mother looked around. Somewhat confused, I did the same. The terminal floor was crowded, but no one was paying us any attention. "You can't do this," my mother said. "You can't be here. If my father finds out he only told me to stay away from the house and not to try and murder Calhoun," I said. "He didn't say anything about seeing you." "What?" "He called me in for a talk after the raid," I explained. My mother stared. I'd never seen my mother in person, at least not that I could remember. All I'd had to go on for finding her had been some old pictures, and when I'd first seen her walking down the arrivals corridor, I'd felt no flash of recognition. She just looked like a pretty 40-year-old woman in a skirt suit. The longer I talked to her, though, the more something started to stir. The small movements she made, the way she turned her head. There was a strange echo there of the glimpses I'd catch of myself in a mirror out of the corner of my eye. "I could tell you what happened," I offered, when she still didn't speak. "Not here," my mother said, seeming to come to a decision. She pulled out a card from an inside pocket, then hesitated, shook her head, took out a pen, and scribbled on the card. "Don't talk to anyone else until we've met. Okay?" "Okay." "I have to go," my mother said. Without waiting for an answer, she grabbed the handle of her suitcase and strode away, heels clicking. After 50 feet or so, she looked back. I waved. She gazed at me for a second, then disappeared into the crowd. The wind shifted, sending another gust of cold rain into my face and pulling me back to the present. I shook myself awake, huddling back under the tree and taking another glance around. The Olympic Park was just as empty as before. Maybe it wasn't just the well I was worried about. I'd walked out of Heathrow this afternoon feeling, well, not happy, but as though I'd accomplished something. And when I'd decided to spend the evening hunting for wells, I'd thought of it as a victory lap. But as the rush had faded and the hours had passed by, I'd started to feel, what, bothered, uneasy, dissatisfied. It had left me dissatisfied. When you spend a really long time looking forward to meeting someone, you build it up. You rehearse it in your mind, spin out fantasies of how it's going to play out. But when it actually happens, it never seems to go the way you've planned. Because, of course, you've thought of all the things you're going to say, but not the things that the other person's going to say. And so it always goes in some direction you didn't expect. I hadn't expected my mother to run at me and give me a hug. Still, I'd been hoping for something, well, more. I'd been replaying the conversation in my head, and the more I did, the more I couldn't help noticing that there hadn't really been any point at which my mother had seemed especially happy to see me, or be around me at all. The fact that she hadn't remembered that it